What's up, fellow geekazoids? Man, I am so pumped about today. This is the way. But is this episode really any good? Does it progress the story? I don't know, but let's find out today on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
So who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Two Geeks and a Microphone show. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, the most illustrious, the most comic-rific, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in geekdom land.
Well, everybody, sorry we're just a few moments late because we were having a debate about who was the best music composers today.
John Williams.
I say Michael Giacchino.
He's up there, but John Williams always be the maestro. He's known as the maestro. Come on. He is the man.
Right. So before we derail this episode, we need to get right to it.
John Williams is the man. Right, Megan?
Absolutely. 2 against 1.
There's a great YouTube video with a guy. He's singing a cappella. John Williams is the man, and he's doing it to all the different John Williams themes. So Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Jaws,
that's actually got to be pretty good.
Man, it's awesome. And then he's got just all kinds of goofy lines and from Star Wars movies, right. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's like a 12-year-old video, but it's still just incredible. Go check it out sometime.
That sounds good. Hey, good morning, Multiverse Edits. Welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Nice. Multiverse Edits? Oh man, Steven doesn't like you already because your name says multiverse in it.
Right.
Steven has a problem with the multiverse. I don't know why.
That's why the multiverse needs to be edited.
All right.
Oh gosh. All right, everybody. Well, welcome today. We are talking about Mandalorian season 3, episode 4, number 4.
Well, we got a few things to get to before that, but
we do. So just letting everybody know the big picture: 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. What else do I know? Anyway, that's about it right now. So, hey,
I just know the Spanish: 1, 2, 3, 4.
The second one was French. So, hey, so here's the big dealio, everybody. As you well know, and we talked about this last week, Mike and I do not discuss these. We don't discuss our thoughts. What our phrase is, what?
Save it
for the podcast. And so this should be kind of interesting today. And I'll be open with you guys. We haven't talked a whole lot about stuff because I'm running late because I live in Montana. And last night we got dumped with at least 2 feet of snow overnight. And that's the most I've ever had overnight. Now we've had that over a couple of days, in a row. But here's the thing. We're in the midst of a first day of a couple of days. So it's supposed to snow all weekend long. So guess what this guy will be doing? Shoveling snow a whole lot.
We've been getting rain here. It's just rainy and dreary and blah. Yeah,
gotcha.
I've hated it. I want spring. I want spring and I want it now.
Yeah, right.
But if we get the bad weather out now, and as long as we have good weather in the next over 3 weeks from now,
yeah.
When we do our first camping trip in the camper, I'm good with that. I can deal with the bad weather now. I don't want it during that weekend.
Right.
We'll see.
That's funny. Well, hey everybody, as you can tell, I don't have my green screen up because I'm kind of doing my office a little bit and redesigning and so anyway, needless to say, you can see all my geeky stuff. There's my mugs. There's our mugs from our friends, the podcast Nerdery and Murdery.
Nice.
And all. And there's some other stuff in there. There's my signed John Jackson Miller Marvel comic, the what's the word I'm trying to say? The Old Republic, Star Wars,
Cool.
the Old Republic, and stuff. So I got my other stuff. Our other guest that's been on Mandalorian. Holy cow, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. This is what happens when you get older, everybody.
Mark Anthony Austin.
Well, no, I don't have anything Mark Anthony Austin. I'm trying to.
Wait a minute. Who did you say?
See, I'm gonna have to get it now. Well, anyway, okay, I'm doing dead air. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so here's the dealioso. We do have an action-packed episode for you today, so we're just gonna move right into it.
Well, I wanted to mention something real quick. You got our mug up there, right there too, right?
I do. There's ours right there.
So yeah, I got a message from another guest that we've had. We had that junk man from YouTube.
Oh, that junk man, yeah.
We had him on a couple years ago, actually, when we first started.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years. Yeah,
I had posted our latest audio in one of the podcast groups, and he responded on it. He said, "Hey, that mug's in one of my videos," and I was like, "Oh, sweet! You put our mug in your video?" And he says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'll have to make sure and check it out because I saw the post when I was at work, and I says I'll check out your video when I get home." He goes, "Yeah, just watch the one things I hate." I go, "Well, I sure hope one of the things isn't our mug." But he has our mug in the video. I posted it on our Facebook page, so go check out that junk man. He's pretty fun. He has some pretty fun videos and stuff. So
right on. Very
all right.
cool. Okay,
you ready to move on to some geeky news?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, and let's see if I can share my screen here. Bear with me just a second. There we go. All right, so this is from CBR.com.
Okay.
They are reporting that Marvel is going to do a one shot. I believe it's a what if. And yes, it's a what if issue. And it's about Stacy Gwen or Spider-Gwen. Peter Parker is going to die in it. So it's going to be like the reverse of her story, when she dies, and that kind of urges him to go on as Spider-Man and such. So I'm looking forward to that. I may have to buy the actual physical copy of that, not just read a digital version of it. I think that'll be cool. So I wanted to make sure and mention that. And then,
okay.
So we got some more information on the cryptic Zack Snyder tweet that we announced.
We talked about last week. Yes.
Yeah. So apparently Zack Snyder is having a Snyderverse trilogy event, which is happening, I think, at Universal Studios in California, if I remember right. He put tickets up for sale yesterday, and they're already sold out. They're gone.
Wow.
It's a 3-day event. First day they'll show Man of Steel. Second day they'll show Batman v Superman, and I'm sure it'll be the extended cut. And then the last day will be the Zack Snyder Justice League, which that is a 4-hour movie. So this is a official event sanctioned by DC and Warner Brothers. So this is not something that Zack Snyder is just doing on his own. And we know this because Jim Lee is actually involved. For those of you who do not know, Jim Lee is one of the higher ups of the DC management. He is one of their top artists also.
And he's been doing art for years, decades.
Oh, yeah. He actually lived in St. Louis when he was a teenager.
Oh, did he?
Did you know that? Yep.
I did not know that.
Pretty cool stuff. So he is a hometown boy for me. Anyway, so Jim Lee has done some special artwork for the event. He's done artwork for T-shirts and posters that will be for sale. And apparently, it is money for this is going to the AFSP, which is American something suicide prevention group.
Oh, cool! Right on.
Which I'm sure that's from his, that comes out of his daughter his daughter had committed suicide during the making of Justice League, which is what led to Joss Whedon taking over the Justice League, and which is why we got that crappy version.
Right.
Anyway, so that is what the cryptic message from from gosh, I forget the character now. Anyway, that was the cryptic message that Zack Snyder put out last week.
Yeah.
That we were all questioning what was going on. The funny thing is, some people. Oh, I forgot. And this was the poster that he tweeted out also for the event, which is the Superman statue that you see in the movie that was destroyed, and it's reassembled here.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the different symbols: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg. It says 10 years of heroes, three epic movies, one man's vision. And then you have the Snyderverse trilogy event. So nice poster, looks really good. A lot of people were reading into that poster. Oh, you know, the statue was destroyed. Now it's restored. That means that the Snyder verse is going to be restored. I'm like,
right.
Stop it, people. It's Snyderverse is not coming back. It's not coming back.
Right.
I think this is more of an event of him giving closure to the whole Snyderverse, DC Snyderverse. And I think he may even be talking about Rebel Moon stuff, because that's his current.
Yeah, I bet you he's doing it as a pre-launch to Rebel Moon.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
When does that come out, by the way?
I am not sure.
We'll figure it out.
I'm pretty sure that's a Netflix series.
It is, yes.
But I know he's pretty excited about the Rebel Moon. I've heard that he's got a deal for a video game for it and everything. So
I think it was already a video game, wasn't it?
I just heard this morning that he had a deal for a video game. So I have no idea. I know nothing about the Rebel Moon other than, you know, all these little stories that are coming out of him doing Rebel Moon for Netflix. I don't know if it's existing universe. I don't know if it's his own creation. I have no clue.
Okay.
As Schultz would say, I know nothing.
I know nothing. Oh, it comes out December 22nd this year. Rebel Moon does on Netflix.
So we'll have to keep an eye out for that and see if it's something we want to cover or not. A few shots I've seen of it looks interesting, but
yeah.
So that is my geeky news for today.
Sweet. Okay. Cool beans.
Should we move on to Geek Dark?
Let's do this. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, you don't need that, Private. We're right here. Now, what is it? Now, what is it?
I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
I love it every time. All right.
Okay.
Geek Dark. Steven, what's on your Geek Dark today?
All right. I got for me today, it's 2 movies. No big reviews or anything like that, but just getting them on the Geek Dark. Number 1 is I watched Cocaine Bear last week.
Awesome. I want to see that movie.
It is probably one of the best comedy horror B movies that I've ever seen.
Oh, nice. It looks gloriously bad. I so want to.
It knows that it knows what it is. You know what I'm saying? I was surprised it was Elizabeth Banks who directed it. And
what is Elizabeth Banks?
She was involved with Pitch Perfect series of movies, 1, 2, and 3. She was one of the judges that was in every single movie. She's been in a bunch of stuff. But it was actually, I think she did the latest Charlie's Angels movie too that didn't do so well, but it was, the comedy in it was great. The horror aspects of it to it were really good. The how shall I say, the gore factor, everything had a purpose and it was pretty funny. Some of it was funny.
I just think it's funny that it's loosely based around a true story.
Yeah,
But-
loosely based. Yeah.
Right. But the true story, the bear doesn't go insane and all that stuff. But-
Now, from my understanding of the true story, is in their search they find a bear that's dead that they realized had eaten cocaine.
eating the cocaine. You're right. So
Yeah. The thing about the movie is I thought it was a one-time event where he ate the cocaine, but the way they do it in the movie is the bear is always sniffing out to find more cocaine to eat.
so he's hooked on it.
He's hooked on it. Yeah.
Did you see Geek with the Bible? He posted a meme that said sequel to Cocaine Bear, and it has the Cocaine Bear in rehab. I was like, that's awesome. That's genius. I love it.
That's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's good.
That's so cool that you saw it. I got to see it. I want to see it so bad. Nobody in my house wants to see it though.
It's worth seeing. It's worth seeing, especially with you guys. You guys have watched what? Oh my goodness, the Walking Dead and all that kind of stuff. It's
yeah, but that's not Walking Dead.
no, that's true. It's not.
Oh, that's so funny. Anyway, what's your other movie?
I also saw John Wick 4. I went to the Thursday night showing, the 8:00 showing, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
I love the John Wick trilogies or the series. So I've enjoyed every single one of them. This one is the locations, the visuals. You can see, I rewatched late last night John Wick, the first John Wick, because Kelly is kind of like wanting to kind of see now what the whole story has been to lead up to 4. And we watched it and I'm like, man, the director, you could see where he came from, and now to see where he's at, it's the same director for the 4th one, is just phenomenal. His growth as a director is phenomenal. My favorite sequence in the film is there's this whole top down, from a cinematic point of view, there's this whole top down view of you're seeing John Wick go through this house kind of a thing, and people coming and fighting and stuff in the shift. It was just spectacular. It was just spectacular. And so visually it was great. Story wise, it's not too bad. It's got a purpose behind it and it's good. You hate the villain. You really hate the villain. And but it does kind of upend some of the and that's the whole point of the villain. He's upending some of the rules and regulations, that's in the John Wick universe for the purpose of getting John Wick. I mean, it's just fascinating. So anyway,
Well,
yeah,
I want to see it. I haven't seen 2 and 3 yet though, so I got to watch 2 and 3 still.
yeah.
But I will get to see it, and I am collecting Berserker, so
Yeah.
At some point, I would like us to cover Berserker. So
Yeah, Kelly goes last night, was this based on a comic book? And I said, no. But there is a comic book based on this, sort of.
kinda, not exactly.
Not really. Yeah.
He's like John Wick on steroids, if you can imagine that.
Yeah. 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 It would be good to review
I mean,
that.
John
Yes.
Wick's already pretty badass himself, but yeah, he makes the Berserker character makes John Wick look like nothing. That's
Mhm.
that's the way I would describe his character in Berserker.
Yeah. Agreed.
But it's total Keanu Reeves, and they somebody approached Keanu Reeves with the idea, and he's like, "Yeah, I love this idea. Let's do it." So,
Mhm.
and rumor has it there's going to be a movie. Imagine that, which I'm sure is what they had planned all along.
Maybe.
All right. So moving on, my Geekdar. I finished up Noah Primeval. I finished it all the way. I had finished the story part of it about a week or 2 ago, and then I finished up the Bible study section because there's kind of a Bible study thing at the end. It kind of explains what his ideas behind the theology and Mesopotamian
culture and stuff at the time.
and stuff like that, which is really, that part of it's really interesting too. So
Right.
I highly recommend the book. I think it's a great kind of biblical fantasy. It's kind of hard to put it in words, but I mean, if you like stuff like Lord of the Rings and you like Narnia, I think you would probably like Noah Primeval too.
Mm-hmm.
And I did start reading book 2, which is Enoch Primordial. I think that's correct. So I started reading that. And then the last thing on my Geekdar, since Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham comes out next week, I I started looking at it this morning actually.
Is
I
there a
pulled
trailer for that?
Oh yeah, we did the trailer.
Did we do the trailer?
Yeah, we did a reaction to it.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember.
It's like a month ago or something like that.
Oh.
But yeah, we already did a reaction to the trailer.
Okay.
But I figured since it was coming out, I might check out the comic book, and it is available on DC Infinity. So if you have a subscription to DC Infinity, you can check it out. And so far, I'm a little over halfway through the book, and it's been pretty interesting. It kind of looks like it's almost a sequel to Gotham by Gaslight, which I'm a big fan.
Oh, I really enjoy Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah. It looks like it's several years after Gotham by Gaslight, because
Right.
it looks like it's in the 1920s, maybe. And I think Gotham by Gaslight is the end of the 1800s or something.
It was the Victorian era. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. I have the comic somewhere.
I do too, somewhere. I just
Right.
don't know. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying that, and I can't wait to compare it to the animation. Hopefully the animated movie is as good as the comic book. So
Right on.
that's my Geektar. All right. Are you ready to move on to the main event?
Let's do this. We're 20 minutes in. Let's do it. Woohoo! It's time for the main event.
All right. So
This is the way. All right.
Yes, we are discussing Mandalorian episode 4 of season 3.
That is correct.
Now, so we are at the halfway mark.
Is this the halfway mark?
Season. Yep.
Okay,
we
so
only
it's
have
8
4 more
episodes. Okay.
Yep, it is 8 episodes. Oh, just to give everyone a forewarning, next week we will probably not do Mandalorian, but we will do a season finale review of Bad Batch, because next week is the season finale of Bad Batch.
We say that now, but we'll probably watch the episode and be like, oh, yeah, we better talk about this too.
We'll see, because I got a feeling there's going to be a lot to talk about in Bad Batch. I think there may be even connections into the Mandalorian. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But Bad Batch so far has been really good this past season. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been great. There's only been a couple episodes that were like, that was okay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
This
week's was good though.
Yeah, this week's was good. It was very good. Of course, it was good. It had Crosshair in it, but
right.
I mean, he is kind of the best one of them all. But anyway, we're not talking about Bad Batch today. We are talking about the Mandalorian. This is the way.
Right on.
So we open up the episode, and we are on the planet where the armor is at, which I don't remember the name of that planet. We're getting introduced to so many new planets. It's hard for me to keep track of what's what, who's who, and where's where.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're on the planet where the armor is, and where their clan is basically kind of headquartered at. And we're seeing all the youngling Mandos, the foundlings and apprentices training to be Mandalorians, which I thought was pretty neat. You know, I was like, oh, this is cool. Watching them train, I like this. And you know, the older Mandalorians are watching over the younger ones and like giving them advice and and stuff. And I was like, this is really cool. Nice little look into the Mandalorian culture. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
So we get that. We meet
Did
Paz
you want to give your
Vizla.
overall view, your
Oh,
overall
yeah,
score?
sure. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going right in. I
You're all
was
set.
excited. I'm
know.
all set.
No, I don't blame you.
Uh,
It's totally okay.
So yeah, okay. This episode, I really liked this episode. I thought it was great. Like I said, we get a nice glimpse into Mando culture, which I thought was really cool. We get some moments with Grogu and the armor, which I wasn't expecting just yet, and I was happy that we got them. Thought that was really neat.
Mhm.
Found out some interesting things about Paz Vizla, and we got another giant monster in Star Wars. I mean, that's
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
It was good. Agreed.
So overall, what are we using as our scale?
No, it's up to you. Unless you would do that monster, but I don't know what it was called.
Yeah, I don't want to use the monster. I know we'll use the Mandalorian darts.
There you go. I like that. Well done.
I will give this 8 out of 10 Mandalorian darts. I really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't feel there's really any slow points in it. We got some build up, which I enjoyed. The Mando culture was good.
Mhm.
And I thought there was some progress in actually in Paz Vizla, Bo-Katan, and Din Djarin's relationship. So
Yes, agreed. I
8 out of
would also give it 8 out of 10 darts.
Nice.
Mandalorian darts. It was a good episode, and I didn't Steven skip anything.
Nice.
And all. I was intrigued. I wanted like, okay, and it kept moving along at a good pace. I didn't like. I hate this is to be a nitpicky, but I was like, when it first started, I was like, we're only 26 minutes, kind of a thing. I said, this is going to be a short episode, but it moved along well, and it told a great story within that 26 minutes. I was surprised how much they got in that 26 minutes. So
something I'm finding about this season alone, the episodes do seem to be short, but they're just packed with so much story and information. They don't feel that short, and I'm not saying, oh my God, this is just drug out and I can't stand it. It's not,
right.
It's not that type of feeling. It's just, it ends and you're going, wow, that was only 26 minutes,
Mhm.
instead of, wow, I can't believe I sat here for an hour, that kind of thing. Or
Well,
2
that's
hours.
kinda like the last one. I was like, you could have cut out the whole Coruscant story part of that, and it would have been 26 minutes and probably would have been fine.
Well, I think I don't
They're
think
setting up. They're
right.
setting up.
I don't think they should have cut the whole segment out, but they should have cut it down, is what I believe.
Right.
And gave us more Mando.
Agreed.
I want more Mando.
Right. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. So go for it.
Sorry. I just kind of jumped into the episode. I apologize for any spoilers, but yeah, so we're on the beach and we get the little training aspect, and I loved it when Din Djarin first we see Grogu, Baby Yoda, and he's like on the beach, and you think, at least I thought,
yeah.
okay, I thought he was moving rocks around with the Force, and I'm like, oh, cool. He's over there practicing the Force while they're all out training, to be warriors and stuff. I'm like, this is pretty cool. No, they were little like crab creatures that
Right.
he was getting ready to eat. As we all know, Baby Yoda's always hungry.
Always hungry.
That poor little guy, he's got to eat in every episode.
Right.
Then Mando's like, okay, playtime's over. Quit playing with the rocks.
Mhm.
And you can see Baby Yoda's face like, dude, I was going to eat one of those.
Right. Right.
I wonder if he's Cajun.
Uh,
They're kind of like crawdads, right?
That's right. We need a little crawfish boil.
Right.
I said they were hermit crabs.
Yeah, they did kind of look like hermit crabs too, but you don't eat hermit crabs. So, of course, then
Right.
again, Baby Yoda eats all kinds of weird things. So anyway, so Mando takes him over, sets him down in front of who we find out is Paz Vizla's son, who is the one that was getting trained. And
I didn't realize it was his son until they got later on into the show.
Right. Yeah. That's true. I'm saying we find out later that that's Paz Vizla's son.
Yeah,
So,
I better pop that up real quick.
Oh yeah, good idea. But this is great because he brings him over there, and he says, Din Djarin's like he challenges, and I don't know what the kid's name is. Paz Vizla's son. I don't know what his character's name is, but anyway, he's like he's too young, he's too little, and even the judge is like he's too little. And Din Djarin's like, no, give him a chance. I'm his ward. So this is Batman and Robin.
I thought so too when he said ward. Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, now we're Batman and Robin, which I'm fine with. That's cool.
Right.
And Baby Yoda's got this look on his face like, what are you doing? You're nuts. I can't take this kid on.
Right.
He's like 3 feet taller than me. And then Bo-Katan comes over and she's like, don't worry, my dad was the same way. He's just proud of you. He just wants you to do good. Don't worry, it'll be all right. And then she's like, sure, this is a good idea. Which I thought was great.
Right.
So yeah, and then I'm sitting here going, how in the world is Baby Yoda gonna take on this little Mando? I mean, what in the world is going to happen here?
Right.
And throw his butt across the sand. That's what he's going to do, What else can he do? And Din Djarin says, or Din Djarin says, let the other contestant choose the weapon. And he chooses the darts. And I'm like, Baby Yoda is going to wear a wrist dart shooter thingy, whatever you call that thing.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
And Din Djarin
action there.
Do what?
A little adaptive. Let's get one on his little wrist.
Yeah.
Or his whole arm. Took up his whole arm. Yeah.
Right. It takes up his whole arm. And Din Djarin just tells him, squeeze to release the darts. Just squeeze to release the darts.
Right.
And the kid immediately, and it's like paintball, which I thought was cool.
It was, yeah.
That's awesome. They use paintball to train. That's so
Right.
cool. It's like a police academy or something, man. Because they use paintballs too, and so does the military. But anyway, so the kid shoots off too right away, boom, boom, and hits him. And and then Baby Yoda's got this look again, like, "Are you nuts?"
Right.
And then Din's like, just use, or he doesn't say use the force. What does he say? Just relax. I know you can do this. I've seen you do things before. They don't know what you can do. And all of a sudden, Baby Yoda does this amazing flip over the kid's head and then back again and lets out all 3 darts, and he wins the competition.
Yep. Pew, pew, pew.
And I love it when Bo-Katan's like, did you teach him that? And he goes, nope. And I'm sitting here going, no, Luke did. His mentor, the one that he's supposed to be with right now. So we get this whole look into the training of him as a Mandalorian now. Mm-hmm. And we've had a little bit of the training on the Jedi side. Now we're seeing a little training on the Mandalorian side. So where do you think we go with this? Is he gonna become a little Mando?
I think in the grand scheme of things, we are looking at the next Mandalorian Jedi.
I think so too.
Somehow, some way. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I
know it's going to be a little weird because he's so small, and how does this all work? But somewhere in that crazy head of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, in their crazy heads, they've got this worked out. They know where he's going.
Yeah.
They don't know his end, but they know where he's going. That's for sure.
I will say I did like your thumbnail for the show for today. where he's
Nice.
all in the Mando outfit and stuff. I was like, where'd he get that? That was pretty good.
I was really glad I did that one. Especially, I listened to Rebel Force Radio yesterday.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Oh, it was great. They're always great, but
Right.
but they were discussing whether Baby Yoda would actually go on to be a Mandalorian and such. And both Jimmy Mack and a caller who called in, a listener who called in, had said, "Well, you can't cover up that cute face. You just can't. You know, they did all that work on him. You can't cover up his face and put a helmet on that." So I was really glad I used the image that I used for our thumbnail. I'm like, he looks pretty good with the helmet there. I think he does.
Yeah, right.
He's got the entire Mando armor there. I think he looks great. So,
yeah. I do hope, in all fairness, with the whole helmet and on or off, I really hope we get to the point where it's okay to take your helmet off. That's just me.
I think something's coming. I think, I think there's going to be some kind of reckoning of that, possibly.
I hope so, because I think it's the one thing that frustrates me the most about the show.
All right, let me ask you something. You
Yeah.
got Katie Sackhoff,
Mhm.
who's pretty big in the sci-fi world.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean,
Mhm.
she was freaking Starbuck of
Mhm.
Battlestar.
Oh yeah, and she was in the first Pitch Black. She
Yeah.
was, what else is she? She was in Longmire, which is on Netflix now, which is actually a really good show. Takes place in Wyoming. So yes.
So Katie's pretty popular, especially in the geek world.
Mm-hmm.
You've already introduced her without a mask, without a helmet.
Right.
Are you really going to force her to wear a helmet the entire time she's on this show?
I'm not.
I know, but I'm saying to think as one of the producers and
Mhm.
directors of this and writers of this.
Mhm.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. I think something's going to happen. Either she goes away from the clan and she continues her ways as she did before, which I don't think will happen because I think she's had a change in her character.
I think she's had a revival in her about Mandalorian culture.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the clan is going to change a little bit too. I think their ways are going to change a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's going to be part of that. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So in the end, Baby Yoda may not even wear a helmet.
Right.
Yeah. And still be the Mandalore. You know, that's I think that's where we may be heading with him. I think at some point he has to become that Mandalore because, okay, he's already been established as a Jedi. You know, he's been established to have had Jedi training, and as we've seen in this episode, he probably had training from Yoda himself, possibly, as we saw in this episode, because there's some things that we saw that I want to get to. And then he's all gung-ho about his adopted dad, who is a Mandalorian who walks the way, so I think that's where you have to go. You don't introduce this character and then don't turn him into one or the other or amalgamation of the two.
Mhm.
He's not going to go off and just be a vagabond.
Right.
Well, I reject both ways.
Right.
And I'm just going to be a vagabond from now on.
Who
I'm gonna be a
knows? In his teenage
nice
years, he
vagabond.
may be,
Well, okay, yeah, we might have a Groot moment or something. Oh God, I hope we don't have a Groot, Baby Yoda playing video games and being all snotty. I hope not. I don't want to see that. I like our
Right.
Baby Yoda the way he is.
Right.
Anyway, so moving along. Then we find out. Well, we find out we get a new monster in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I love that we're getting Godzilla-like monsters throughout the Star Wars universe. That is just amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
And we
Agreed.
got freaking Rodan. Come on. It's what it was. It was Rodan. He flies through,
Okay.
grabs the kid, or she flies through, grabs the kid, and I'm like, that's Rodan.
That's funny. That's
That's
funny.
awesome. So Rodan grabs Paz Vizla's son, and Bo-Katan. Well, they try chasing him down. They run out of fuel in their jetpacks.
Which I thought was great. It's the question we've all asked: is how much fuel can those handle, or is there really a limitation? It's like watching John Wick and like, how many bullets can you have in that
Right.
gun?
Right.
You know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed showing the limitation
Uh-huh.
and the tension of that limitation and how they overcame it. I thought was great storytelling.
You know, that was one of the things that I liked about the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man over the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Garfield, he did not have the natural ability to shoot webbing from his arms.
Right.
You know?
Which was kind of a weird thing they added to the Tobey Maguire one because
Right.
that's
Well,
not the
now-
comic book.
Well, they've done it both ways in the comic book. They have. But I prefer the version of him that makes the web shooters. To me, that shows
Intellect.
it shows the intellect of Peter Parker. You know, it shows his ability to you know, make things, and then it shows a limitation, and that way he can't just rely fully on the webbing. You know, at some point he runs out, so he has to be careful of how much he uses, and he has to think about that. You know, and if he don't, he pays the price. And so it's a nice limitation that they add to the character. I think it gives the character more depth. I think this does the exact same thing. Exactly. You know, you don't just get the power or the booster blaster pack or whatever, the flight pack, the jet pack, and it just automatically flies anywhere and blah, blah, blah. No, I like the idea that there's a limitation to it. I think that's cool. I agree with you. That was a nice little detail that they added that we never, but then we never seen the Mandos fly very far either, you know?
Yes.
So, you know, it was just something different and I liked it. I agree with you.
Right.
That was
Yep.
So yeah, it showed the limitation, and then Bo-Katan just flies her ship. She's like,
I love how she already had that forethought. Well, let me get my ship while they're doing their thing.
That's because she's like, yeah, I'd rather use my ship than fly with the jetpacks. You know?
Right.
And then she finds the nest and everything, and comes back and said, "Look, I found the nest. We can get to it, but we have to climb because we can't take the jetpacks up there because it will hear us coming and blah blah blah."
Oh yeah,
Which
and
was
immediately
pretty cool.
kill the child. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they even said, "This has happened before." It's like,
I know.
holy crap! This thing is like kidnapping your kids, and you guys, why don't you leave? Why don't
set
you
up
go
some kind of
somewhere?
early defense system or something? Have a lookout, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, you just gonna let this thing kidnap your kids? I mean, come on, that's
Right.
nuts.
Yeah.
The Mandos are a little crazy, just a
Yeah.
little. I think, but you know, that's part of their culture.
He took our kid. This is the way.
This is the way. No, I think this isn't the way.
We ran out of jet fuel. This is the way.
This is the way to the fuel station.
Right. Right.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
my screen just did something weird.
Yeah. You're freezing a little bit, but we can still hear you, so you're good.
Okay. So yeah, so we get that, and then the bird, she spits the kid out.
Just like a bird. Just like a
Yeah,
bird.
which I thought was great, but I think it was Jimmy Mack who said, he goes, you know what, this is where they could have added something, because I mean that kid came out dry. That kid came out dry. You'd think he'd have saliva on him, and you know, just stuff. He'd be dripping with stuff. He wouldn't come out dry.
Right.
I was like, yeah, you got a point.
Some kind of ooze on him.
Right. They could have just put at least something, you know,
Right.
make it a little more believable there. But yeah, so they rescue him, bring him back, and everything, and the clan celebrates and all this stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, we bought." Yeah, I was shocked. We brought you 3 more foundlings, and they brought the 3 baby Rodans.
I know. I was like, what in the world are we doing here? Right.
Yeah, I don't think they could be foundlings, but but I got a feeling Baby Yoda's going to have something to do with them. He's going to be doing some little mind control thing. And
Well, he's always been good with animals, right?
right, exactly. Yeah. So
Even the Rancor
in
in Mandalorian season 2.5,
and Mandalorian 1,
also
the
known as the Book of Boba Fett,
Mudhorn,
the Mudhorn, yeah,
which plays into his new piece of armor, which was
that was neat,
freaking awesome. You know,
yeah.
So
I'm thinking it's so this big old bling is like it's too heavy.
now that you said that, you know what picture I got in my mind?
What?
What's his face from Public Enemy? Gosh, I can't think of his name. With the big clock. Oh my gosh. Oh God, I can't think of the rapper's name. Why can't I think of his name? Oh my gosh.
Flavor Flav?
Flavor Flav, yes, Flavor Flav.
Right.
That kind of reminded me of Flavor Flav and his big giant clock they used to wear around.
Right.
Baby Yoda, Flavor Yoda. There you go. That's awesome. Awesome stuff right there.
Oh god.
So yeah. I forgot the coolest way for the pterodactyl to go out gets eaten by the turtle shark thingy.
Oh right.
Right. And you know what went through my head as soon as that happened? All I heard was Qui-Gon Jinn go, "There's always a bigger fish."
Yeah. Right.
As soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh, there's Qui-Gon. He's in my head."
Right.
I loved it. But then we also, when that was all happening, we had the babysitter moment. We had the armorer babysitting Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's like, "You can't go yet."
Yeah.
Which tells me eventually he's going to be going on missions with Din Djarin.
Yeah, I think what I gathered out of that was not necessarily the aspect of missions, which, yes, I can totally see where you're going through. I'm not disagreeing with that. But for me, it was the concept of how shall I say, there's training involved. There's a sequence for you.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You've got to be you're the foundling, then you're apprentice, then there's a progression. It's kind of like video games. You got to go through levels.
Well, yeah, before you can get to the boss.
You're still at level 5. You still have some of your skill tree to get your Jedi powers, and you got to work on your skill tree a little before you can reach this level 20 stage. Now,
but see,
Djarin's at 50 on his way to 100.
he got a reward this episode too, so he got another piece of armor. So yeah, then the armorer takes him into, and she starts pounding. Okay, what did you think when she started working on something with him there? What did you think that was going to be?
I had no idea. I just kind of rolled with it.
I honestly thought she was going to make the helmet. I really did.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, you had that moment in the beginning with the kid, and he's like, "Why doesn't he wear a helmet?" And he said, "Well, he can't say the creed yet, and you can't take a helmet until you can repeat the creed and stuff." So my thought was she's going to pound out the helmet, and he may not get it yet. He's got to work his way to it. That's what I was thinking she was doing. Yeah. But go ahead. Finish.
No. I think for me, it made sense that it was going to be armor. Excuse me. That there was going to be armor first, because that's how it was with the one kid.
Sure.
When they didn't get his helmet till he said the creed officially, like a little baptism scene or a rite of passage scene.
That kid, the only thing he has is the helmet. He doesn't have anything else. He has no other armor.
Oh, really? I have to go
Yeah.
back and look at that. Okay.
Truthfully, Baby Yoda has more armor than he does.
That's right. He's got the little chainmail,
Yeah.
Beskar chainmail suit.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that too. But anyway,
Wonder if he gets hot in that.
I don't know. Ask those people who do cosplay of knights and stuff. They'd know that.
Oh, they get hot, right?
I'm
Yeah.
sure they understand that.
Yeah.
But that's when we have the flashback to Order 66. We go back to Order 66 again.
Yeah, this is important.
And
Yeah.
we finally get the answer we've been asking since the beginning. Was Baby Yoda at the temple during Order 66? And how did he survive? Well,
Mhm.
we learn that there is a particular Jedi, which none of us knew at the time. Well, some of us might have known, because actually this Jedi's character has come up before. He was in a Star Wars like game show for kids as this character. So the character has been used. I never watched the show. I've heard it's terrible.
Okay.
Not because of the actor. It was just a bad little game show. That's all. It was just meh.
Right.
Anyway. So the character has been used, but apparently he got a little more flair to his costume in this. So he's a little more shiny. But so all of a sudden we hear all these Jedi yelling, "Get him to Kellering, I think is the way you pronounce that." And I'm sitting here going, what's Kellering? Is that a planet? What is that? And then all of a sudden we see doors open and I went, is that? I think that's, oh my gosh, it is.
This is the part where I went, boy, that guy looks familiar.
Oh, I was freaking out. And it turns out it was Ahmed Best, who played none other than Jar Jar Binks himself. Misa Jar Jar Binks. So
Yeah.
I was super excited to see Ahmed Best. Ahmed Best took a lot of crap and unnecessary crap for a character that for some reason people just did not like. And that was supposed to be like the kickoff to his entire career, and it almost ended everything for him. I mean, we're not just talking his career. It almost ended his life. He went through major bouts of depression. He has a YouTube video where he talks about his depression, how he almost committed suicide, and he actually takes his son to the location where he was thinking about doing it and everything. So to me, this was kind of a victory for Ahmed Best as an actor, and I was just thrilled for him. I was so happy. It's like, good. Ahmed Best gets to come back as a character, and not only just a character, possibly now one of the most important characters in Star Wars, because he just saved what could possibly be one of the more important characters in Star Wars. So I looked at it as a total victory lap for Ahmed Best as an actor, and I was just thrilled for him. I think that's awesome. Good on Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for doing that. That was super, super cool of them.
Yes.
Very, very happy. So
yes,
that's what I said I was so excited about for this, for doing this.
Yeah, I'm glad we had this discussion, because I was like, man, he looks familiar. And then I didn't see anything till last night about the whole connection of who it was. And I agree with you. It is a great story. How shall I say? I don't want to diminish it by saying story. It is a great practical help.
Yes.
Of restoration, of encouragement, of coming back and saying, this poor guy was dumped on, who's only doing exactly what was directed of him.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the character or not, the thing you have to remember about Jar Jar Binks, Jar Jar Binks was actually the very first 100% CGI human to CGI character. There was nobody before Jar Jar Binks. That type of character did not exist. He is the first, you know. And when you look at that and look at the technical aspect of it and what George Lucas was doing there, it's pretty freaking amazing. And people just dump on the character. Oh, he's dumb. Oh, then we had the whole racist thing, which was BS to begin with.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, he was a racist stereotype and all this stuff. Well, you do realize that Ahmed Best actually did come up with a lot of the things that you're claiming are racist. So you're just stupid. You're an idiot if that's what you really think. I'm sorry, you know. So yeah, he was dumped on. It was unfair. It was terrible, you know. I don't hate Jar Jar Binks. He's not my favorite character. I've said it many times. Jar Jar. I saw Jar Jar Binks through the eyes of Megan and through my nephews, and to me, this, you know, the prequel trilogy was their Star Wars. That was their Star Wars. And I watched the prequels trilogy through their eyes, and I enjoyed it through their eyes. And I still enjoy the prequel trilogy.
Right.
Jar Jar has his flaws, but you know, he was meant to be a silly character. That was the point of Jar Jar. That's why he was there. And it just sucked.
I still think it would have been brilliant if he was Darth Jar Jar. But anyway, I'm just saying. Hey, but anyway, let me finish my thought here real quick.
Okay,
so what I was saying was that here's an actor who has gone from that point of Jar Jar, but now he gets to play a character that is, one, a Jedi, two, a really cool suited Jedi, by the way.
Yeah,
I loved the outfit. It was the little glyphs that were in the robe and the whole bit. I was like, that's cool. But third, he is the Jedi who saves one of the most adorable, loved new characters in the Star Wars universe.
Let's face it, Grogu's like the new Jar Jar. I mean, of current Star Wars. Jar Jar was supposed to be the cute character for the kids. And I say Grogu is the same thing.
Yeah, maybe Grogu in his adolescent phase. if he gets it. But my point being is that he goes from one into given the opportunity to be a character of significance.
Yes. Agreed. Now, the only thing I can hope for now is something comes about for Jake Lloyd. I would love to see Jake Lloyd get something similar to what Ahmed Best just got, because Jake Lloyd played Anakin Skywalker in episode 1. He was the kid, and man, that poor kid, he took on so much crap, and his life got completely messed up too. You know, honestly, he's probably worse off today than what Ahmed Best. You know, Ahmed Best has made the best of his life. You know, he's done good. Unfortunately, I don't think things have turned out as well for Jake Lloyd, and I would love to see something turn around for Jake Lloyd. I'd love to see him to be able to get some kind of comeback in the Star Wars universe, and and just give that kid a victory lap too. That would be cool. That'd be super cool.
We've done it for Hayden Christensen.
Oh yeah,
you know, which you know.
I don't think Hayden Christensen got it near as bad as Ahmed Best or Jake Lloyd did.
Agreed.
And you know, and I think the Clone Wars cartoon series has a lot to do with that, because that cartoon series really changed the character of Anakin Skywalker. And I think that it made a lot of people look at that character a lot. I know it made me look at Anakin differently. You know. And I personally like the character a lot better because of the Clone Wars. Not saying anything bad about Hayden Christensen. People dump on his acting and stuff like that too. And yeah, he had some dry moments that weren't the best, you know. And a lot of that can be attributed to directing too, the way he was directed also. and a lot of that can be fall back on George Lucas,
Mhm.
but ultimately, I like Hayden Christensen. I think he's a decent actor. I liked how he played Anakin.
Mhm.
I thought he did a good job, and I was thrilled when he came back for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Me
I
too.
agree. I agree. Hopefully, we can see that for Jake Lloyd is somewhere. Maybe somehow bring Jake Lloyd back as some kind of side Jedi, like they did with Ahmed Best, and give him a
Mhm.
nice victory lap too. That would be really, really super cool to see.
That would be. Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, it was a great episode.
I agree.
It was a great episode. It's worth seeing. It would be one I wouldn't Steven skip. Just
That's-
saying. It's kind of funny how that's become my marker. You Steven skip it? Yeah, some of it maybe, but not this episode. I wouldn't. It was good.
I'm just seeing Multiverses Edits comment. You guys should change your name to The Geeks Podcast.
Right? Love it.
I don't know if he's saying that just because we have more than just two of us on here at times, but yeah, it started off just the two of us, Steven and I, and
No, we've expanded. It's great.
we've expanded, but we don't want to change the name. Kind of like the Three Geeky Dads, they added Tito and they're still calling it Three Geeky Dads. So
Right. That's funny. So, okay. Any other thoughts or any other?
I just that I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was cool. Just loved seeing the Mandalorian culture. Still questioning whether the armorer is a Mandalorian or not. I don't know. I mean, she has those horns on her helmet.
I hope so. It would be a great progression
gotta be
for that
something.
character, because as we're doing all these redemption arcs, that's what this whole thing is, redemption arcs, which is really what Star Wars is supposed to be about, all these redemption arcs. I think it would be good to see how the armorer was once a Mandalorian, has put in this whole thing with the helmets because of people would know who she is, and then just to continue the redemption of how she's trying to give back into the Mandalorian culture. She's trying to maintain it, even though that's who her character was, but just got misguided. But maybe a way so that she can still be a part without people knowing, and then finding out, and then going from there. It'd be interesting.
So yeah, the big question right now is she a Mandalorian? Will Bo-Katan stay with their clan, or is she going to move on? And then we still have the looming question of what exactly is Baby Yoda? I mean, is he to be a Jedi? Is he to be a Jedi / Mandalorian? We still don't know where he comes from. We don't know if he's offspring of Yoda. We don't know if he's just the same as Yoda's race, and somebody else altogether different. We don't know. I don't know if we'll get an answer to that either, because
and I don't really need it.
I don't know.
If Yoda and Yaddle got busy.
I think they did. But George Lucas was very protective of Yoda, and he always stated he didn't want much released on Yoda's character. He wanted to keep him a mystery. So I'm wondering if Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau will continue that, that legacy of, this race is just a mystery. We don't know anything about him. There's some people that believe that Yoda's, whatever his race is, they don't procreate like humans or like other beings, that they're just basically procreated from the Force, and they're just naturally Force ability creatures, which, I mean, I can buy that. I'm kind of okay with that. If he just came out of the Force, and okay, all right, that's kind of cool. I can dig it. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll get an answer to that, but that is one of the looming questions that are up there. Probably not the most looming question, but one of them. I think the bigger question was Baby Yoda at the temple during Order 66, and how did he survive it? And we got that. Oh, and that was one other thing. Kettering's Ahmed Best character. He
Mhm.
flew in a ship that looked very similar to Amidala's ship, to Padme's ship.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it was a Naboo ship because they had Naboo guards there
Mhm.
at the ship. So I don't know if that was one of her royal ships or what that was exactly. I mean, it has to be because this is the
It's
silver,
that style. Mhm.
right?
And I
It's the
liked it
same
too.
style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a cool looking ship.
Mhm.
Do you know that Captain Phasma? It's rumored that Captain Phasma's suit is actually melted down from Padme's ship. They actually used Padme's ship. They used parts of her ship to build Captain Phasma's suit.
That's weird.
That's
Okay.
part of the lore. That's part of the lore.
Interesting. Interesting.
One of the interesting things about the sequel trilogy. See, I didn't dump on it this time. Wait till next time.
Right.
Wait till
Right.
next time. I will.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, that's funny.
All right.
Well,
So overall, yeah, it was a great episode.
Yep.
Really
Very cool. Very cool. Well, with that, anything else that you want to add or any other thoughts?
No, I think that's all I got.
Okay. Well, hey, everybody, I would like to encourage you to check out our website at twogeeksmike.com, twogeeksmike.com, the number 2, GEEKSMIC.com. One of the cool things is that you go there is that you'll see all kinds of, how shall I say, our merch page, our affiliates pages that we have and some of the things that we do. But today I want to talk about StreamYard real quick. StreamYard, here, I'm going to share my screen, everybody. Oops. Well, that did not work like it was supposed to. Right? Wah, wah. StreamYard is probably one of the easiest ways to really do some really cool, how shall I say, where's my StreamYard thing? What's this? I'm having technical difficulties, everybody. Just saying.
This has nothing to do with StreamYard. This is all on Steven.
It's all on Steven, by golly. Yes. I have too many tabs open, I think, is what it is. It's what it ends up being. Okay.
I can do this.
I got it. All right. Well, here with StreamYard, you will see the link in our description. But there are ways that you can create your own StreamYard experience. You can add to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter account. They're adding more, and depending on your plan, you can have all kinds of different destinations. For us here at Two Geeks and a Microphone, we actually have 4 Facebook destinations that we're streaming to, plus YouTube, plus Twitch even. And and so really enjoying that. There's no software to download. It's actually all done through your browser. So you do have to make sure that you have pretty good internet service. One of the cool things is they've added new where you can have guests. They've actually added your guests can actually stream on what platforms they may have now. They are continuously updating it and adding to it. If you're interested in doing your own podcast, I would encourage you to check out StreamYard.com. Please check the link that's in the description. That actually, if you decide that you want to sign up for that, you can test it for a little bit. If you sign up, that does help support the show. And I just really enjoy StreamYard. It has just been since we started it, 6 months ago?
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. I think it was
About 6
right
months.
around Christmas time.
We have been very happy with it. We were using another large streaming service, but they were having some issues with it and stuff. But this one is just much more intuitive. And
it's much more betterer. Cheers.
It's much more better. Cha-ching. I will say, Chris Mott. Hey, Chris. It is because of Chris that we moved to StreamYard.
That is
So
true. That is true. Because
it
Chris
is because
uses
of him.
StreamYard.
Yeah, because that's how that Mike has done some stuff with Chris on his show on Mocktails from the Cantina. Great show. Interesting recent shows, by the way, Chris.
The Empire Strips. I'm sure Chris is having a good laugh right now.
I'm sure he is. Oh gosh.
Anyway.
But anyway, check our link below if you want to try it out. That does help support the show. So we are affiliate. We do have an affiliate sponsorship with them. So anyway, anything else, Mike?
Yeah, make sure and go like us on Facebook and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Just give the little bell a tickle so that you will be notified anytime we go live. We go live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math for the other locations.
Right.
I'll give another heads up for next week. Next week we will not be covering Mandalorian. We're going to cover the season finale of Bad Batch.
Well, really, the season and season finale, I guess.
Well, yeah. Well, we don't. What do you mean? See, it's the season finale. It's the last episode of the season.
Right.
Anyway, so we're covering Bad Batch because we did the opener, we did the mid, so now we got to do the closer. And then we will do a double dose of Mandalorian the following week, and then I think the week after that is the season finale of Mandalorian.
Yes.
So, and that's the way we will do this. This is the way. All right. So with that said, over and out, and I'm looking for our closing video. Over and out, and this is the way.
This is.
Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
May the force be with you.